Hi, I'm Francis Dodds, Editorial Director at Burley Dodds Science Publishing. And this time I'd like to look at a really important, a major new title of ours, which is Understanding and Fostering Soil Carbon Sequestration, which is edited by Dr. Cornelia Rumpel of CNRS in France. This major reference is divided into 4 parts. Part 1 looks at understanding carbon sequestration in soils, with chapters on the mechanisms of soil organic carbon sequestration, factors affecting soil organic carbon dynamics, the roles of soil biological activity and abiotic factors in organic carbon sequestration, and the key issue of co-benefits and trade-offs in soil organic carbon sequestration. Part 2 looks at measuring carbon sequestration in soils, chapters, for example, on advances in measuring soil organic carbon stocks, advances in soil mapping to assess levels of carbon sequestration at landscape scales, advances in modelling soil organic carbon, and digital tools for assessing soil organic carbon at farm and at regional scales. Part 3 looks at ways of fostering carbon sequestration in soils. So it looks, for example, at agricultural practices to improve soil carbon sequestration in upland and rice paddy soils. It looks at managing grasslands, forest soils and agroforestry systems to optimise carbon sequestration. And it also looks at the management of soil organic and inorganic carbon storage in urban areas and technosols. Finally, Part 4 looks at socio-economic, legal and policy issues, for example, creating national policy frameworks to foster soil carbon sequestration practices and developing carbon farming schemes. Well, to give you an idea of the huge riches of this book, I've picked out a couple of chapters. Part 1, I've picked out Chapter 2 on mechanisms of soil organic carbon sequestration and implications for management, which is written by a team led by Professor Ingrid Kogel-Nabner of the Technical University of Munich in Germany. This chapter summarises what we know about the complex nature of organic matter formation in soils, the types of organic matter entering the soil, the major processes during turnover, and the protective mechanisms leading to organic matter storage in soils. This knowledge is fundamental to understanding the potential of different soils for sequestering organic carbon, as well as soil management practices to increase organic carbon inputs or decrease organic carbon outputs. The second chapter I wanted to pick out is from Part 3 and is Chapter 15 on promoting soil sequestration in soils, the importance of soil, region and context-specific interventions, which was written by the eminent Professor Ratan Lal of The Ohio State University in the US. This chapter provides an important overview of challenges both in measuring and improving soil carbon stocks. Interventions, as the chapter points out, need to be carefully targeted to be effective. Technologies for restoring soil organic carbon stocks, including landscape management, conservation agriculture techniques using, for example, residue mulch with cover cropping and complex rotations, as well as agroforestry, improved grazing and pasture management, as well as reclamation of saline and restoration of degraded soils. Well, I'll summarise, if I may, by quoting some leading experts in this area. First is Professor Jennifer Dungate, University of Exeter and Scotland's Rural College, SRUC in the UK. And she's been kind enough to say, this is a timely and important summary of the state-of-the-art understanding of soil carbon cycling, led by an eminent editor with contributions from globally respected leaders. It promises to provide a go-to contemporary reference for stakeholders who need scientific evidence to support decision-making about soil management. The second expert I wanted to quote is Professor Donald Sparks, University of Delaware in the United States. And he's also been kind enough to comment, this comprehensive book covers a range of topics on carbon sequestration, including mechanisms, measurements, modelling, management and policy strategies. The book will be an invaluable resource for scientists, students and policymakers. I highly recommend it. Well, I think you'll find this book brings together a rich body of research that would otherwise be sequestered and out of reach. We think it will be the standard reference for years to come.